said it once. We've said it before. We've said it a million times. The truth shall always set you free. This is Tim. Get off my lawn. The mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. Want to talk about Back to the Bunker Joe. Also, we need to talk once again, and I'm trying to get away from talking about the Trump assassination attempt conspiracy, but just more and more information comes out that leads you to pause and leads you to think and leads you to say, what the hell is going on here? But first, let's just talk about the fact that President Biden has tested positive for COVID-19, even though he's been vaccinated and boosted and vaccinated and boosted and vaccinated and boosted again. And he's experiencing mild symptoms, and he will be returning to, wait for it, I know it's going to be a shock to you, we're going back to Delaware, where he will self-isolate and continue to carry out his duties full-time during this whole ordeal, said Karine Jean-Pierre. The White House will provide regular updates on the president's status as he continues to carry out the full duties of the office in isolation. If you're truly in isolation, are you really carrying out the full duties of the presidency? I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not trying to be a butthead. But really, are you really able to carry out the full duties of the president if you're isolated, if you're completely isolated? Biden, of course, acknowledged on X that he does have COVID, that he's been diagnosed with that. He wrote, "I will be isolating as I recover. During this time, I will continue to work to get the job done for the American people." You know, you go back to the last election, and of course that was a COVID election, and everyone was in the bunker, and Biden never left the basement in Delaware. And I find it interesting that once again, as we're heading into an election cycle, he's all of a sudden sick again. Da-da-dum. His doctors are saying that he has respiratory symptoms, a runny nose, a non-productive cough, and just general malice. Or Malaysia. I don't know what the hell it's called. I can't talk today. It's been another long day. Car shopping. It's never fun. You know, you go to the dealer and you think, okay, this is going to be a great experience. It's going to be a fun experience. And you get there and you know you have a good credit score. You know you have more than enough to deposit or for, not to deposit, more than enough for your down payment. And you call them up and you tell them, hey, listen, I'm coming. And they're like, and then you ask, you still have that vehicle? Oh, yeah, we got that vehicle. Then you show up and they don't have the vehicle. But they always have a better one. We got a better vehicle for you. Well, you know what? Maybe the vehicle I wanted was the better one. And maybe I'm just old, but I think you should probably have the car that I want. And if I ask you 2 hours before I'm coming out, if the vehicle is there and you tell me yes, and some reason every time it just miraculously gets sold, I don't know. I think that might be a little bit of a conspiracy or a little bait and switch. I think I'm going more with bait and switch. Of course, the president will also be going through the accordance with the CDC guidelines for a symptomatic individual, which we don't know what they are because they change every day. Before you had to go 10 days in isolation, then it was 7 days, and it was 5 days, and then, well, you know, if you wear a mask and just, dance around in a circle in the rain, you should be fine. It's amazing that this man has been vaccinated, this man has been boosted, this man has had everything under the sun. He's usually in complete isolation in regards to the people that he sees. He never goes anywhere outside of Delaware, but for some reason, he still contracts COVID repeatedly. Maybe he was, want to talk about conspiracy, maybe he is patient zero. Think about that for a minute. Think about it. Of course, all this comes with mounting pressure for him to drop out of the race. You have everyone, not everyone, but you have a good portion of the Democratic Party saying, listen, Joe, just go. stay away, Joe, and just go, Joe. Because you're a no-no, and we don't freaking want you. But if I had Kamala Harris in the bullpen, you got to kind of think to yourself, what is Joe Biden really that bad of an option if my other option is Kamala Harris? So evidently, again, this isn't going to be the Trump conspiracy theories for part trace, because I just think it's more of the ineptitude of the CIA. Not CIA. Well, maybe the CIA was involved in this, but I think it was the ineptitude of the Secret Service. But evidently, the Secret Service was warned and ID'd Thomas Crooks as a threat 10 minutes before Trump took the stage. But they let the ex-president go on anyway, and they literally almost made him the ex-president. Secret Service was warned about Thomas Michael Crooks and designated him a threat 10 minutes before the president took the stage and allowed him to go on anyways. This is what a law enforcement source is telling the New York Post. The agency was warned that there was a character of suspicions on the ground more than an hour before the deadly shooting at the Trump campaign rally, of course, in Butler, Pennsylvania. But there was no gun reported, even though he was described as an individual or a character of suspicion because he had a rangefinder as well as a backpack and was over an hour. And this was over an hour before the shooting started. So the Secret Service was warned of this threat, but because they didn't see a gun, because anytime I walk around with a rangefinder and a backpack, you see someone doing that, I don't think anything of it, especially when they start climbing up the side of a building with a ladder. I mean, really? Now they're saying that it was previously unknown whether the local police who spotted Cook outside the perimeter of the rally had warned the Secret Service in time. The new details confirm the agency got the message but failed to act. So now they're saying that the local police, the Butler police, of course, who are now vehemently denying they had any part of this outside of them climbing on the roof and having the gentleman point the gun at him, the officer, that wasn't him falling off the roof. Or jumping off the roof. Evidently, the CIA, I keep thinking, because when it's a conspiracy, it's always the CIA. It always is. But evidently, the Secret Service was warned that you had a person of suspicion. And evidently, I love it because you have all these people who could see him. You had all these people that were pointing him out. And the Secret Service was like, what? What? Who were they talking about again? And the decision to leave a building roof unguarded, which was going to be an ideal perch for a sniper, in an elevated position with an unobstructed view of a line of sight of 130 yards away from Trump on stage, the Secret Service says, well, it was a mistake. We did a walkthrough in the beginning, but how those things happen. You do a walkthrough and you do the sweeps, you do everything else. But we've talked about it before. The roof was slanted. The roof was slanted. We can't put an agent on here because he's going to fall off. Heads need to roll at the Secret Service. 100%. 100%. So evidently they're also saying around 5:45 p.m., just 26 minutes before the shots rang out, a member of the Beaver County Emergency Service Unit saw Cooks up on the roof and took a photo. And at nearly the exact same time, a Beaver County police officer also reported Cooks as a suspicious person and took his picture took their picture for their report. But again, these reports weren't acted on. And now, final minutes before he pulled the trigger, rally-goers near that building, the AGR building, saw him up on the roof with a long gun and started frantically shouting at nearby law enforcement. But the Secret Service said, we can't get everyone out of the clown car in time to save the president. Thank God the guy was a terrible shot. Or Trump turned his head just at the right moment. It's amazing to me that, I'm still sitting here blaming, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm still blaming that for this whole fiasco. Because we're more concerned about looking politically correct than protecting our political figures in this country. Trump has his big speech on Thursday at the Republican convention, so we're going to make sure we cover that on Friday, so stay tuned for that. And as always, the truth shall always set you free. This is Tim, the Skeleton on the Mad Ramblings of a Gen Xer, and I'm out.